There's one three-word to say when somebody says you can't. Go funk yourself. Yo. Go Funk Yourself back with another Songs Explained 11 Semtex featuring the boy Payzant. He can't be with us today. He's stuck to his girl so much like Semtex that they're expecting. This song, Semtex, is the first love song I ever went about writing. And he was in a new relationship, like maybe 5-6 months in, when I brought this beat/song to him to have a verse. And he pulled from that love. And he got a killer verse. It was like the iconic like Wiz Khalifa type rap verse on a pop song. Like in my head, that's how I hear it, because it's just like quick 8 bars, has like those 8 bars full of bars, but he also does the singy part in the first half. So I'm going to just say how this even came about. I wrote this song originally and had the 2 verses were myself. And the first verse of mine, I didn't really like too much, because it was more intrinsic. It wasn't as much about, like, it was almost my take on the love rather than some take on the love that's out. It's like outward, like towards her or towards the energy that there is, right? It was more like intrinsic. And I didn't like that for the song. I didn't think that's what we wanted. And so I cut that verse, moved my second verse to the first verse slot, and then had the open verse. And then when I came home from LA in, I think, September 2020, for a couple weeks, while I was back, I came over to Payzant's house where we recorded many songs prior, and he just jumped on, hit a verse like 30 minutes. It was quick and easy. We had to go back and re-record some ad-libs and stuff like that, but that's not too hard, That's just it's the hardest thing is just like sitting down and actually doing it type beat. But that's most things in life, huh? But yeah, man, this song, Semtex, it's cool because it started off as another song, actually. I wrote a song called Happenings, and it was based off of the idea that happiness is based off of happenings. And joy is what we're actually in search of, because happiness comes and goes. And it's kind of like an esoteric thought, but it's also like vague. But it's something I kind of live by, where I'm not chasing happiness. Like I'm chasing like intrinsic joy and like peace. And happiness doesn't bring that, because I know that on the other side of happiness is, well, sadness, dread, whatever it may be, right? And so I had that song, but it just wasn't hitting the way I wanted it to. Like, it had the happy beat, the 3 major chord beat that's just super uplifting. And then I was writing this, and I liked the dichotomy of the 2, but for whatever reason, it just wasn't working for me. And so I just opened a new project with that beat, deleted the vocals, added a couple things into the beat to make it a little bit different. And then the hook came. You hit me with the Semtex. It was basically that idea of just Semtex, because I was playing video games at the time, started thinking about Modern Warfare 2, the OG, with Semtex. Shout out, it just got dropped, I'm pretty sure, the new edition or whatever. I'm probably not going to play it because I'm not ripping like that anymore, but shout out Semtex, Modern Warfare 2 for sure. But yeah, man, it was just like, wouldn't it be cool to have like a love song that's not about roses and whatever else the cliche is. It's like Semtex, because it's like a love that's like so crazy at times that it feels as if like there's explosions. And like the other line of, you got me in a suplex, bloodbath in a duplex. It's like, what's that line? It's me just like saying shit, right? It's like me being a songwriter, but it's also like bloodbath, like first it's like having a bath, like you take a bath with your significant other. One, okay, but then two, a bloodbath, it's like, oh, you're sharing each other's blood. Are you like MGK making Fox type beat, or are you like hurting each other bloodbaths? You don't know, right? And so it's like, it could be like a toxic love, but it could be a really romantic, fiery love that like other people may see as negative, but the people in the relationship may not, right? And so I think it was like one of those, I wanted to hit one of those like super vague love songs that was like, it made sense, but it didn't, because to the average person just like thinking of the idea of Semtex and it being a love song, it's like, well, isn't that a sticky grenade? Yeah, but if you're stuck to somebody and you love them so much, there's going to be turmoil. And that may be when the sticky grenade blows. And, you know, sometimes you can't recover. Sometimes you do. A lot of times you do, if you're with the real person that actually you're supposed to be with, right? But man, Semtex is a cool song. I thought it was a cool idea, just in terms of a songwriter perspective of like thinking of things that like are different. They're unique in a way, you know? So that's Semtex. There's not much more to it. I guess my verse specifically is kind of about how my love for her brings me out of the pits that I find myself in innately, right? And I think the first verse that I had written that I said I deleted was even more into that. And so that's why it got scrapped, because it didn't really work with the song how I wanted it. But when Payzant came in and laid that second verse, it worked great, because of it was like a fresh perspective and like his take on his own love, right? Versus mine. So then his was like a cool take of like, I'm gonna get you horizons. Like he's tripping because his shoes like crazy. I wish I had the lyrics in front of me, because like I'm blanking right now, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because you can just go listen to it and then you'll know for yourself. But I will say, shout out Payzant for the post-chorus melody. That is the outro of the song, but it's like the first half of his verse. I also used it in the background of the first half of my verse, if you hear it. But it's very subtle. It's like one of those music mixing kind of things that it's like, if you're not listening for it, you're not going to hear it. But once you hear it, it's going to be cool, I think. It's like one of those Easter eggs, because that was the first time you heard it. You didn't know. First time listening to the song, you don't know what his verse is going to sound like. So you don't know that section. And so it's like an Easter egg tease in the first verse, very subtle. But that's what I'm all about, is subtlety. But then also just like saying crazy, outlandish shit, right? Because that's what gets people to turn around. Like, what did he just say? I'm not saying any of that right now. We don't need to do that. But I will be back, episode 12. Maybe I say something then. Maybe I don't. But that was episode 11. Peace.
You hit me with the Semtex. Stuck to you, love forever, baby, what's next?